Hi everyone, it's the beginning of the school year, one of my favorite times of the year. We get to welcome students and families back, start focusing on the classroom again. One of my favorite topics is on classroom management. That's what we're talking about today in our webinar. If you are newer to BT and this is one of your first webinars, welcome. Glad you're watching today. If you are returning and you've seen lots of our webinars, thank you as well to coming back today. So again, focus on classroom management. Before we jump into things, let me introduce myself. I'm Justin Chesebrough, the Director of Beyond Textbooks, and again, excited that you're joining us today. A couple of things that we'll highlight in this webinar. One, as a reminder, we have that chat bar right now. If you're watching it live, hit the chat if you have any questions you want to engage, or if you just want to say hello, I am from fill in the blank, let us know who's watching today. Number two, as always, we will have a short quiz available after this webinar. It's 5 questions. If you get an 80% or better, you actually get a PD certificate that will be emailed to you. We will also pull 15 names at random if you're watching it live. Within 48 hours, we'll pull 15 names at random. If that is you and you passed our quiz, we will send you $100 as a thank you for watching this webinar. And as a reminder, as always, we always archive our webinars. If you go into that Stay Engaged area on BT and look in the archive webinar area, you can find all of our past webinars if you want to watch those as well. So again, thanks for tuning in today. We're glad you're here. Let's talk about classroom management in general and kind of set the stage in terms of why focus on classroom management? Here in our school district, we are big fans of Harry Wong's book, The First Days of School. If you haven't read that or looking for something good to read in terms of expanding your knowledge on BT, I'd highly recommend it. That book again, Harry Wong, The First Days of School. And his book says that the research behind it shows that classroom management has the largest effect on student achievement. Think about that. Classroom management, the largest effect. So we want to make sure that we hit the ground running effectively, have some good classroom management techniques in place at the beginning of the year. And while there's a lot of things that we can't control in education, this is one of those things that you as a classroom teacher have control over. Classroom management is on you. You have a lot of control in this particular area. So I want to highlight 5 specific tips today that will help you, whether you're a kindergarten teacher, 8th grade math, geometry, PE. These tips span across all grade levels and content areas. So we're talking 5 tips today, right? Here is number 1. Arrange your classroom for success. And again, that can be a classroom, whether you're a grade level teacher, or it could be PE or music or art. Just think about your classroom in general. Arrange it so that you can be successful throughout the school year. So what do I mean by that? For example, do you have a consistent agenda posted somewhere in your classroom? Maybe at the front of the classroom, so when students walk in, they know exactly, okay, here's the plan for today. Is there an area dedicated in your classroom for specific daily learning objectives and or the essential questions that are on BT? So specifically, here's what we're going to be learning today. Do you have that posted somewhere? Do you have an area for that in your room? Do you have the ability to walk your classroom, and not only walk it, but walk it with a purpose? Is it grouped and arranged so that it's successful for you and your students? And then finally, as you think about your classroom, do you have your rules and your procedures and your consequences posted so kids know exactly what the expectation is when it comes to that? Here's a great model product of a classroom that I was in. You could tell the tables are arranged nicely. Teacher can walk around with a purpose and effectively and get to students. If you look at the walls, this teacher has posted some of those expectations that I referred to earlier. So again, just a great example of a classroom that is set up for success. Here's another example of a wall complete with today we will, that specific learning objective. You can see the highly proficient language there on the wall. Some of those documents are created from Beyond Textbooks. This teacher has homework expectations, due dates. Again, just front and center, nice big language, no surprises when it comes to the kids and what they're learning for that particular day. Again, just a great tip when it comes to classroom management and setting your classroom up for success. If you want to continue to think about your classroom and setting it up for success, you'll notice a link above this webinar. It will take you to this classroom setup checklist. If you want to download this, print it, nice little checklist. If you want to go through some of these items that you can use in your classroom to set it up for success. So again, check out this link. When we get done with this webinar, there's some great pointers on there to think about your classroom. So that is tip number 1 of 5. Number 2 is creating procedures and routines. Again, this is another big Harry Wong thing. He encourages all classroom teachers to really think through your procedures and routines. And this is at all grade levels, elementary, middle, and high school. So let's talk about procedures and routines. What exactly is the difference between a procedure and a routine? A procedure is something that you want your students to do, right? So as you're mapping out your procedures specifically, think about what it is that you want your students to do in the classroom. A routine is when it starts happening automatically, right? When I walk into Costco, I reach into my wallet and I pull out my Costco card. That's a routine. It just starts happening automatically. When I go to the airport and have to go through security, again, I take the stuff out of my pocket, I put it in the bin. That's a routine. That's when it starts happening automatically. So think about your classroom and your expectations when it comes to procedures, and then those routines, things that you want to have happen automatically in your classroom. For example, things like, when students arrive to your classroom, what are the expectations? When they leave, what does that look like? When you want to get your students' attention, do you have a procedure and a routine for that? What about when students want to use the restroom? Is there a sign out? Is there a pass? What are all the procedures and routines? So really be thinking through what are the procedures and routines in your specific classroom. And to help with this, we have a second document that you can click on. There's a link above this webinar, which is a classroom management plan. Several pages in length, but it goes through all those procedures and routines and really allows you to sit back and think about, okay, how do I want my class to operate? What are the specific procedures and routines in my classroom? Again, I encourage you to download that, print it, use it to help you as we start this new school year. We've gone over 2 of the 5 tips for successful classroom management. Let's talk about number 3 here, which is using a signal, the importance of losing a signal. And the thing with signals is that it really allows students to be actively involved and work independently without you as the teacher losing any kind of control in the classroom. And as you develop your signal and think about your signal and have that routine for a signal, make sure that all the students are quiet before you talk. Give the signal, wait until everybody's ready, and then share whatever directions you need to. That is the goal of a signal. Talked to some teachers in our own school district at the elementary, middle, and high school and said, what kind of signals do you have in your classroom? What are you doing? I'd say the majority of teachers in our district use Give Me 5, but I heard a variety of creative things. Everything from high school teacher doing a shark bait hoo-ha-ha to clapping and singing or chimes at the elementary level. There's some good stuff out there. I encourage you to hit pause right now, look through all of these signals, find that one that works for you and let it become a routine in your classroom to help you and your students without losing any kind of teacher control. So that's the use of a signal. Pretty straightforward there. That's number 3. Let's talk about number 4 right now, which is accessing the BT website specifically for Bellwork. Bellwork is a great classroom management tool. I love Bellwork because your first priority when kids enter your room, whether it's first thing in the morning or each class period, is we want to get them ready and on task with some sort of work. Research also says that it should be in the same spot every day. It should be posted before the students come in so they know exactly what the expectation is for Bellwork, again, when they're arriving for that class period or at the start of the day. And just so you know, in case you didn't, BT has a lot of great Bellwork all ready to go on our BT website. For example, elementary through high school, we have created daily math reviews. 5 questions, spiral concepts throughout the year. It's a great Bellwork that you can use if you teach math. Recently, we've added daily grammar reviews, also available at the elementary, middle, and high school. Great to use, 5 questions aligned to the standards. You'll find those under your math or writing summary pages. And as you can see on the screen in front of you, they're broken down by quarter. We've got them PC-friendly, Mac-friendly, PDF-friendly, and a Google version as well. Encourage you to use those for Bellwork. Again, just another great classroom management tip. All right, let's transition now to our 5th and final tip for successful classroom management, and that is utilizing the professional practices page on the BT website. I don't know if you've been to this page before, but it has some great things that you can use in the classroom management, and others as well. So let me start off by saying here's how you access it, and then here's what you can find in the professional practices area. Once you're logged in and you go to the homepage of BT, click into additional resources. Within that container, you're going to see a professional practices area, and then there's grade level bands. If you teach early elementary, primary, intermediate, middle school, and high school, click on your grade level band. And then once you click in there, not only are you going to see a link for classroom management, You're also going to see an area for beginning of the year, beginning of all those activities that you do at the beginning of the school year. You're going to see one on communication, holidays, lit circles. Since we're talking about classroom management, I encourage you to explore the classroom management container. Other teachers, other BT teachers have posted just some great ideas and tips for you to use from a classroom management standpoint. So check that out if you haven't seen the professional practices area on BT. And speaking of classroom management in general, on the screen in front of you is a screenshot from our most recent BT newsletter, our July newsletter. If you haven't seen it, jump onto BT, go into Stay Engaged and find the BT newsletter. Within there, you're going to see a free training. You're going to see several free regional trainings. One specifically is on classroom management. It's free. We're doing 2 in-person live trainings here in Arizona, across the state. So if you want to look at locations, we're also doing one via Zoom if you want to join in for that one as well. So check out the July BT newsletter, links in there on how to register for these free, did I say free? Free regional trainings. Again, one specific to classroom management. It's a good 3-hour training that we're doing for additional points and tips and tricks for classroom management. So here are the 5 that we went over today. I encourage you to think about these 5, and I encourage you to think about, of the 5, which one do you really want to focus on? What's one area you say, okay, moving forward today, I really like that one, I'm going to move forward on that one. I encourage you to hit pause and kind of think through these top 5 and really come up with a plan specific to your classroom. My goal is that you found these 5 super helpful, and they will help you with classroom management as we move forward into this new school year. So before I officially wrap things up, again, I just want to say thanks for watching today. Our next webinar is on August 25th. We're going to highlight 5 ELA tools on the BT website. So if reading or writing is part of your instruction during the day, I highly encourage you to check out our August webinar. So in closing, I just want to say thank you so much for watching today. As a reminder, if you're watching live, you want to refresh your browser so that link pops up so you can take the quiz for this specific webinar. And again, it's the beginning of the school year for many of you. Thanks for watching today. I hope you have just an amazing start to the school year. We wish you all the best. If you have any questions for anybody on our team, feel free to reach out to us. Otherwise, have a great day.